There we go. We're going to set the mood, make everything natural. Before I continue, I just want to say that there will be spoilers. So if you have not seen the Insidious movies, then you are about to be spoiled. So if you have not seen them, I would advise you to not watch this, to watch it later on after you've done seeing the movies. But let's get started, shall we? My first question to you guys: what would it be like to go into the further, to go into a new world, and you're like, everything looks so strange, everything looks so weird, and then you start seeing things, people, they just come at you like, and it's just all weird, like crazy people, fucked up people. Would you be able to handle going into the further? What would it be like to go into the further? Like, if you went into the further, which is, if you don't know what the further is like the point between heaven and I'm guessing hell. It's that middle, like, purgatory where everyone just, like, does their own thing. Mostly it's just full of demons who are evil. That's basically what it is. But there are some good people in the further. We have seen this in the movies. So, what would it be like? Like if you were able to astral project yourself, which is the main theme of the movie, and you could go into this further, would it be all full of bubbles? Would it be a dance party? Or would it be just pure blackness? I say blackness and it's just white, a pure white screen. But just pure darkness. What about you guys? What would it be like to go into the further for you guys? Would it be scary as shit? Would it be totally cool? Would you be able to, like, fend against these demons and just kind of hang out there as, like, a new hangout spot for school? We got El Manuel in the party. We have Katie. I'd asked them if I could have $5. Can I have some $5, please? Okay. Alexis says she'd piss herself if she ends up in there because she doesn't like the Insidious movies. She don't like demon stuff like that, so Insidious is totally not for you. But they are such good movies, though. Such good movies. But yes, let's go into the further, shall we? It'll be total darkness, like outside my window. I think if I went into the further, I believe that I would be too scared to even realize or find my way back. Because you have to have a strong will. And the number one key that you learn in the movies is that you have to remember you're alive. And that gives you power over these demons, okay? Because when you leave your body, these creatures want to get back to your body. That's where the first movie comes into play. Check that out. That's pretty cool. But we're going to turn it back to this mode now. This is where we get introduced to the very first Insidious movie. The very first Insidious movie is about a boy who can astral project himself, which means when he goes to sleep, he leaves his physical body behind, and he's able to travel to different worlds, to different things through his spiritual body. And most of the time he's been hanging out in the further, which to a kid, he just thinks, it's just dreams, nothing more. And that kind of protected him in a way. But one time, this demon, this red-faced, devil-looking demon, had ended up besting him, and the boy ends up going into a coma. The parents have no idea what's going on, and since the boy's in the coma and he's out of his body, these creatures, these demons, are trying to get back to the boy's body. So the parents start seeing like paranormal stuff. They have like, people that they start seeing, weird, different kind of people trying to go to their kids. And that's where they call what's her name, which is my favorite character of all, Lauren something. I done forgot her name. That's pretty bad. It's her favorite character and you forgot her name. Elise. Where they call Elise. She is a psychic hunter kind of woman. She's really good with paranormal stuff. And she comes in and she's already had, she's already known the family because according to the second Insidious movie, she's already been through this with the boy's dad. So she kind of figured that the boy would inherit his abilities to astral project himself. But yes, that's where she comes into play into this movie. And the only way to save the son is if the dad astral projects himself into the further to basically get his son back. But the Insidious movies, when this one first came out, I really didn't like it. I thought it was childish. It did have some really good jump scares in it. I will admit, it really did have some good jump scares. But I thought it was like a childish kind of movie. I didn't really like the plot that much to it. I thought it was unique though. And I don't know, just when I saw it in theaters, I just did not care too much for this movie. But yeah. And I would probably think that the further would be like this dark place that all these evil people are at. I wouldn't think that there'd be any good people, good spirits there, but there are souls trapped there by demons that have not made it out yet. But yeah, that's the gist of the movie, and in this movie, you have this red-faced, monkey-looking demon, and I guess that was my problem with it, just his look alone. I thought it was, like, really, really childish, like a representation of what the devil looks like, with the red face, the horn, the tail. So I was like, okay, it didn't really scare me at first. So, but yeah, that's what the first movie is about the young boy. See if I can find a name to put with him, because it's been a little bit since I've seen them, so I can't quite remember names that well, and of course it doesn't have the name listed on the back. But yeah, James Wan was the director, and I think that this was a great movie. When I first saw it, I didn't. But then you got Insidious Chapter 2. Now this changed everything of how I saw the Insidious movies. When I went in theaters to see Insidious Chapter 2, it was way more scarier, and it completely blew my mind. It took innocent scenes that made no sense make sense in this movie. It kind of backtracks, and you'll see that if you watch all the movies. Like when you're dealing with the further, when you go into the further, not only are you going to a different time frame, well, not time frame, but into a different dimension, but it also alters time itself. Because in Insidious Chapter 2, his dad is trapped inside the further. And there is this demon, this woman, an old woman dressed all in black. She's known as the Widow. She's been after him since he was a young boy. Like, she desperately wanted his body. And, well, that's what happens in this movie. The dad, when he comes out from saving the son, it's not really him, it's the widow. And the dad's spirit is trapped in the further. Well, the dad ends up going through this time phase and is actually able to talk to his own self when he was younger. And it just is mind blowing how this movie is, and it is my absolute favorite of all four Insidious movies thus far. It has a lot more action to it. It has a lot more scarier scenes. Like, for instance, the widow's mother, which is the main demon of the movie. She is so intense. And every time she pops up, it's just a huge jump scare, and I love it. But they did an excellent job directing these movies. This also has a really nice love story in it between the husband and the wife. And of course, this time the demon wants the little baby and stuff like that. It's such a good movie. This one was way, way, way better. But yeah, this one's about the dad being trapped into the further, and they realize slowly that, you know, even after all that was said and done, and the boy was saved, and he no longer astral projects because the main woman kind of blocked it. And I didn't mention this part. This is a spoiling part for the first movie, so if you want to skip like 20 seconds into the video, go right ahead. At the end of the first movie, the dad, aka the widow, chokes and kills Elise. Well, Elise comes back in this movie as a spirit, and she is just total badass. And she helps the boy get back to where he can astral project to save his father. And it's like the same plot to the first movie, just kind of reversed. But the way that it was done is just beautifully written, and I absolutely loved this movie. But then you have Insidious Chapter 3. Now, Chapter 3, instead of it continuing where the second movie left off, it goes back into a prequel of the first one, where Elise sees this young girl. Trying to see if it has her name listed, but it probably don't. Well, her last name's Lambert. That's all I can see on here. The Lambert family. Anyway, it's about a girl whose mom passed away recently. She was real close with her mom, and she wanted to find some way to communicate with her mom. So she heard that Elise, which is alive in this movie, wants to, or is, you know, good with talking to the dead. So she goes to her and she asks her if she could talk to her mom. Well, Elise is like, no, I don't do that anymore, blah, 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 blah. And she's like all afraid to even handle or deal with spirits at this point. The girl ends up trying to communicate with her mom anyway. And instead of communicating with her mom, she communicates with this ugly ass little demon right here, who's like this old man, has a breath machine, breathing tube on him, just real nasty looking demon. This is one of the scariest of the three so far that I've mentioned, but I still like the plot a little bit better to the second movie. But this movie is excellent. I teared up at the end of this movie because it was so good. But yeah, she wants to communicate with her mom, and then she ends up getting into an accident. A car hits her. after her school play audition that she did. Well, she broken, I think it's both of her feet. Yeah, she broke both her legs. And she has to be in bed the whole time. And of course, paranormal stuff starts happening. It starts pretty slow, and then it like fully progresses. And what makes this demon different compared to the ones that we have seen in the previous movies? I know I'm kind of jumping everywhere. I'm not very good at reviews, but you know, what ifs. But what makes him so different compared to the other demons is the other demons, their motives is that they want to live again. They are desperately trying to get into the host's body. This demon wants to take the host into the further so he can basically become its god. Like, it'll be its slave forever. It'll be his to torture and do whatever he wishes to. And, yeah, I think that was really unique for the movie. And the best part about this movie would have to be the ending. And I did put spoilers in the video, so I will go ahead and say the ending to this. But when the girl and her dad realize what's going on and they're trying to fight this demon, and Elise, all of a sudden the girl's mom shows up. And it turns out that her mom was trying to communicate with her this entire time. And the mom ends up saving her daughter, completely destroying the demon, and she's perfectly fine at the end of the movie. Then it all ends with the red demon guy. Basically, oh, that's where number 1 takes place. But yeah, it's really, really good. Love this Insidious movie. And then finally we get the next movie in the franchise, which is Insidious: The Last Key. The Last Key is another prequel. This is all about Elise, which is at this point the main character of the entire franchise. Which is fine with me, because I absolutely love the actress and I love her character so much. But in this movie, this is where it goes back to her beginning. It shows her as a little girl and she sees ghosts. And her dad, he's like some kind of jail worker or something. He has something to do with the jail. But he's afraid of her abilities to see the dead, so he beats her every single time that she says she sees something or something paranormal happens that he can't explain. He just gets her to put her hands on the wall, and then he beats her in the back. And it's been like that for years, and then eventually their mom ended up dying and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been years of abuse, and it leads up to where she leaves and goes out. And it also mentions that she has a brother, which you will see in the movie as well. So I'm not going to give away too much of the movie if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, the plot to this is basically this guy, years had passed, had called out to Elise, and he's like, there's some paranormal activity going on at this place and I need some help. And she's like, sure, I'll do it. And she realizes that it was her home where she grew up in. And of course she's skeptic about it, doesn't want to do it because, that's where her dad beat her and just so many bad memories. Well, she ends up going there anyway, and she sees this, demon, and the demon leads her to this person. And I want to quit right there because this has so many unique plot twists that I just don't really feel like giving it away. But it ends really good. My problem with it is that it ended introducing the red face guy yet again. The same kind of ending as number 3 had. So I just got really, really confused with it, and I personally think that they need to go back on track and get to the point where the second movie left off. And that is going to be my next question to you guys. Where or what should we expect the next franchise to be? I personally, like I just said, think they need to go back to the ending of the second movie and continue where that one left off with the little girl in the wheelchair. What am I going to expect? Well, at the end, it leaves you with that little cliffhanger that they do, where her spirit's talking to this young girl in the wheelchair, and she looks above her head and she goes, "It can't be." And it goes, I think that the demon thing is either going to be the red-faced demon or the key demon yet again. Because it has to be something that she has come upon, in her life. And I don't know, just I feel like it's going to be good, but at the same time I'm kind of skeptic. The more you stretch a story, there tends to be parts that break, you know what I mean? Like, the more you make of it, the worse it kind of gets. Now, Insidious, all the movies are very, very good. I feel like The Last Key was kind of like the weakest of the movies, but all of them have been very, very good compared to, like, Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity started so good, but as the movies progressed and progressed and progressed, it stretched it and broke. And that's where they drew the line. They quit it right after the sixth movie. So, but yeah, I hope that that doesn't happen with the Insidious, because Insidious is some of the best movies. They're one of my favorite horror movies I've ever seen. I love the stories. I love the characters. I think it's very, very unique. Yes, it's what really starting the trend of all paranormal movies, but I still think that these are excellent movies. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like the Insidious movies? What's up, Pennywise the Dancing Clown? How are you? How's be you? It's Hellboy. I've never watched the movies. Not my type of movie. Okay. But this is going to be a very, very short vlog for the week. I do apologize for it. But my last thing I'm going to say about the Insidious movies is my top 5 demons of the movies. You got number 5, which is the red-faced demon. He's like the baddest of the baddests, I take it, in the whole further realm, according to the first movie, where she, talks about this red-faced demon. Apparently, he's like the worst of the worst. No, I think that he made my top 5 simply because he had a lot of really good jump scare scenes. But personally, he ain't one of my top favorites. Number 4 is the mom of the widow. She is very intense, very dangerous. Every time she came upon the screen, shit went down for real. And it was just very intense. And I could definitely see her as a really good demon. So, yeah, that made number 4. Number 3, I like to call him the Indian demon, because that's what he kind of looked like to me. Some kind of like Western/Indian guy. He's from the very first movie. He's like one of the very first demons that you actually see. I put him high up there because when they introduced you to him, he was kind of like this person walking outside around the house. And that kind of terrifies me because I'm afraid of, like, burglars and stuff. And I actually one time did have someone walking around outside of my house, and I had no idea who they were. It was nighttime. They were just kind of circling the house. I mean, it was a very scary moment. But, yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, and I think that's why I put him high up there. My number 2 is the Key Demon from the last Key, because he was really cool. I liked his ability to where he could put that key finger in and lock them up. I think that's like a really cool idea. I've never, heard of a demon like that, so that was really interesting. And, yeah, number 1 has to be the Widow, because he is the coolest demon that they have created. I thought the big plot twist with him in the second movie was breathtaking. I did not see that coming. And all in all, just, he was scary to look at. Like, the creature itself was scary to look at. But yeah, what do you guys think of the Insidious movies? Do you like them? Do you hate them? You wish that they would continue? Do you wish that they would just end it in the next movie? Let me know in the comment section below. And once again, I apologize for the very short vlog this week. But I'm going to be trying to take a break from my channel for a while. Well, this channel for a while. Because I'm still kind of plotting where I want to be with this channel. I'm still going to do horror vlogs, so don't fear about that. But this one's just a short, quick episode, and I will give you guys a much bigger episode the next time I do the horror vlog. But I'm going to try to get back to my roots of the channel. I want to do actual, like, good reviews. Try not to be so much comical like I usually am. So yeah, I'll just figure all that stuff out. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Z3KO Trinity. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed. And please... Oh, hey Isaac. Thank you for joining. And I will see you guys in the next video.